If yes, then tell me
Recording
the.
with.
Yeah, tell me.
I forgot. Sorry.
Mhm. Are you able to see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So here I think from Q to Z3 I given this task. So anyone completed apart from you? Have you checked the output for this program? Anyone? So if not completed, then you can complete and we will check tomorrow, because these all are we already covered from Q to R, S, T. These all are pre and post increment decrement program is there. So we already covered, just you have to practice for this. And how we are calling the test method and all. So inside the test method also we have pre post call will be there. So how you will calculate all this multiple operators inside that. So just you have to practice these all and check the output is correct or not as per your understanding. So these section 1 has completed as from in this section 1 app 1 2 3 4 is completed. Now we will go for the section 2 here. So in this section 2 app 1 have these all are static initialization. So how we will create a static initializations, what is a static, what is a static block, what is instance. So instance we already declare inside the method, whatever declaration will be there like integer I, float j, float f and all will be there, like so that type of declaration if not mentioned as a static keyword, then, and inside the method will have a instance. But inside the class if they declare a static, so that will be a static instance. So how we will create a static block, what is static block, what is static variable, how we are declaring, what is a static method we already covered. So these things we will check inside this section 2 app 1. So we'll go for the first program here. So inside the class we have a class A, and this is the package section to F1. So here one things we seen before, we used integer I like int I inside the class. So inside the class whatever int I will be there, and if not mention anything static and all, so that will be instance variable. So instance variable directly we can't use if you are using instance variable, so by default value should be there, or based on the object reference we can call. But a static there is no default value available. So if you are using this integer I, so by default whatever the default value will be there, compiler will uh, give this. So if you'll run this program, so here what will happen, compiler will go for the main method, so public static void main system a string argument. Here inside that we have sop of I. So I value is default I value, because this is a static. So when the class will be loaded, class A will be loaded, in that time compiler will load all the static variables. So this is a static, and while you use static, so integer default value should be 0. But if you don't have a static, then you have to declare the integer value. See here it's showing like integer value is not defined, because this is non-static value. So non-static variable should be always declare any type of either 1 2 10 20 anything. So once you declare, then this will be the correct, compiler will show the output. But again we are getting here error. What is here? Because this is a non-static variable, so directly we cannot use non-static variable here. So this is instance variable, so directly we cannot use instance variable here. With the object reference we can use. Already I told instance variable and a static directly we can use, and a static variable will does not have any if you are not providing any value, so default it will be take. And instance variable always we have to declare the value, and instance variable should be called based on the object reference or inside the method declaration. If you mention that, then directly we will call inside the method. But inside the class, if you declare instance variable, so you should have to call this based on the reference. So you have to create an object of class a and a dot I. We will check after this program. So here default value will be the 0. If you run this program, so a static should have default value integer as a 0. The class B have multiple variables are there: integer, double, and boolean. So integer has not declared any value, so these all are the static variable. So once the classes will load, all the static variable will be loaded, and the default value should be, if class has the variable has not declared any default value, then compiler will call default value. So integer I default value, integer default value is 0, double default value is 0 point some 00, and boolean default value is false. So if we run this program, so the compiler will go for the main program. So public static void main method, inside we have three SOP. One is I, j, k value. So I value is 0, j value is 0 0.0, and k value is f. So k value is false. So like that we will use a static variable. So the same here, a static variable we can declare also. If you are not declaring, compiler will take default value, but if you declare, the same value will be taken care by the compiler. So the I value will be the 0 because not yet declared, so default will take. And here integer j has declared 10 value, so it will take a 10 value for me. Here we have a two declaration is class D. Inside that we have two static variable I and j, and both has not declared the value. So by default will be the 0 and 0 from this line number 9 and 10. After that again they reinitialize the value. I was the 0, so they reinitialize the static value as a I equal to 10 and j equal to 10 to 20. So now I and j value will be 10 and 20 in this next SOP, line number 13 and 14. So this is a class. Inside the class E we have a three static variable, and all static variable we declare inside in a single line of. So we can do it because of comma separation. We can declare multiple static variable. Static int, so these all are ijk is a integer type, int type, and declare as a ijk. So these all value is a static, so default value will be taken because not yet defined here. So if you define, it will take. If not defined, then default value will be taken. So all ijk value is 0. Why? Because of println is there. So because of println, all the output will go for the next line. So I value is 0, j value is the next line of 0, k value is the next line of 0. Like this. We can also, inside the single statement, we can also declare some of the variable, some of the static variable we can declare as. If you have not declared, then default. So this way also we can do. So whatever the value has declared, that will print the same. If not, then default will take. So here I value is not yet declared, so I value will be default value is 0, j is declared 10 here, so j is 10, and k is again 0 because integer type. If a string type, then null will be there. If boolean type, then false will be there. If double type, then 0 0.0 will be there, like that. So whatever the default value, we have to check the default value for all the variables. So here this is the G program. Here inside that we have a we have two things. One is integer type, another is double type. Inside double they have three variables. One is j, m and k, both are double type, all are double type, but I is integer type. So default value will be the 0 of I, default value of j is 0 0.0, default value of m is declared 30.9, so and k is not yet declared, so 0 0.0 will be the output, like this. Now inside that we already covered a static variable. So here inside this program we have a static variable and a static method is there. So before already we covered a static method and non-static method in this section 1 F4. So how we are calling multiple static method, non-static method and all. So here we are covering like class H, we have a one static int variable, another is a static void test method is there. So this is the method. How is method? Like this method is name as a some name of method. This is the test method, and open curly braces, close by curly braces. Inside that SOP is there, means this is the test method, and name is static. This is not return type. There is no return type for this. So void is declared, and a static type means a static method is there, and method name is test one. Okay, so inside that, so how we will call, compiler will go for the main method first, so always it will go for the line number 10. So this is the main method, public static void main string argument. Inside SOP is there, so this SOP have a main main is double quoted, so main will be printed, and then I value is, because this is static int, so default I value will be the 0 here, and after that again they reinitialize the I value, I equal to 10. So the test method has called, so compiler will go for the line number 6. This is a test method, and inside form test I value will be the 10. So because I value is reinitialized, so now I value, latest I value will be 10. Correct? Are you able to understand this concept? Can you please confirm? So the next program is, here also we have a static int, another is test. So this test method is there. Inside that they have SOP and reinitialize this int variable. So int x has reinitialized. So the compiler will go for the main method first. Main method SOP x is default value as of x is printed, because this is a static. So once the classes will be load, all the static variable method, static class, all those things will be loaded. So this x value will be printed as a default, x is 0, and after that reinitialize the x value is 20, then test method is called. So test method will check where is that test method, so this test method is line number 6, so this will be called, SOP will be printed here, x value is now 20, because this 20 has reinitialized in line number 14, so that will be called here, and after that again they reinitialize the x value is 10. So once the compiler will go for this line number 16, so x value will be the 10 after execution of test method. So if you run this program here, 0, 20 and 10 will be the output. So here the next program is this one, J. Can anyone tell me the output for this? What will be the output for this program? This is a static int x equal to 0, and we have a test 1, we have a test 2, and then main method test 1 and test 2. What will be the output? Everyone? Are you able to hear me? Anjali, Rita, and Zoom 3. Hello. 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 अरे कितना आवाज निकालते हो तुम। हम्म। Anjali, are you able to hear me? Rita and Zoom 3.
Yes, yes.
Okay, so what will be the output for this? Because we covered a static variables method and this concept related for this already. So almost we completed a static variables. These all are the repeated questions. So we have a static variables and one is other test1 method, another is a static test2 method, and then main method. So compiler will call main. So this main have a test1. So this test1 compiler will check test1 method is there. Yes, 6 line number 6 say test1 method is there. So SOP will be printed. So they are checking X value. So X value already defined because it's static. So once class is loaded, then a static method is loaded. So default of a static value is 10 will be printed. Now they reinitialize the value of X equal to 1. Now compiler will go for this SOP because test 1 has completed. Now SOP. So SOP main X. So X value is 1 now. So compiler has used main x1. Now again test 2. So test 2 method will check. His test 2 is there? Yes, line number 11 test 2 is there. So this what is the x value? Test 2 x value. So x value is reinitialized with 1 current. So that is a 1 because already we reinitialized and we printed here. After that test 2 call and test 2 has current x equal to 1. Now they again reinitialize here x2 x equal to 2. So the compiler will completed this method. Now it went for this line number 21 and they print latest x value is 2. So this is the output. If we'll run this program, so this will be the output test 1 1 1 and 2 like that. You can check these all uh, others program. These all are same as it is program. The k program has integer I, so they have not yet declared the value. So a static integer variable should be loaded on the class time. Once the classes will be loaded, compiler will load all this. If the default value is, if value is not available, then default value will be considered and directly we can call in anywhere. But if you have an instance variable, always we should have to declare the value. And while we call the instance variable means non-static variable, their static won't be there. So if you want to call inside this main method, so main method is always static, so inside this main method directly we cannot use non-static variables. So based on the reference, you have to create a class object for the class name of object, and then based on this reference you can call this variables. So we will check later when and how we will call. And if you declare instance variable inside the method, then directly you can use inside the method anywhere. But inside the classes you have to create an object, and based on the reference of object you can call this non-static or instance variable. But this is static, so default value will be 0 if not yet declared. So here SOP main method will call and SOP I value is 0, then again reinitialize I equal to 10, so B value will 10, again reinitialize I equal to 20, so B value will be the 20. So if we will run this program, then 0 10 20 will be the output. Now next is L program. So inside this L we have two things. One is integer I equal to 0. Again they are trying to declare double I equal to 0. So these all are non-static instance variable. So this is not a static and they use inside the method. So inside the method, that is fine. If you have declared without a static, means non-static or instance variable, so directly we can use inside the method, but same reference we can't use in double. So it should be always unique. Either integer type you have refer as a 1, integer type you refer as a I, then double type should be different reference name, not same. It should be unique. So if you hover here the mouse, so it's showing duplicate local variable I. Why? Because I already defined this I is a integer type. Again you are doing I is a double type here, so the compiler will confuse which I we have to call. So this will be the errors. So compiler will give some compile type error. Now here, what is the error here? Inside this we have a static int I equal to 10, then boolean I, again same thing, I is true. So there also it's showing like duplicate field m dot I. M is the class and dot is the dot I is the name of uh, variable. So here I is a duplicate type. So see duplicate m dot I, and here it's showing duplicate m dot I. So compiler will show both two out errors here, because compiler will confuse which I have to call. If you go for this one, so if compile time error, then you can't run this program. If you'll try to run this program, you will get this unresolved compilation problem, java.len.error. So we have a class n, and inside this class n we have a static variable, integer type of static variable, and name is I equal to 10 and value is 10. So main method, again they int I equal to 20 is there, so that is fine, because in the class level int I equal to 10 is a static variable, but inside the method level also same I they used, but there is no error right now. Why? Because of this is also integer type and name is I and value is 20, but this is not a static. So this is static and this is instance or non-static variable, so we can use either. But if you have a same type of variable, then duplicate issue will come. But this is not a duplicate. Why? Because this is non-static or instance variable and this is a static variable. So if we'll run this program, what will be the output? Can anyone tell me the output for this? Everyone, if you understand non-static or instance variables and all, so you should have to know about this. What will be the output of this I and what will be the output of n dot I? Anita, Anjali, Rita, Zoom 3. Run here this program. The output is 20 and 10. Why? Because of SOP of I is taking this local variable. This is instance and inside the method local variable is there. So this is a local variable or instance variable or non-static variable. So inside the method they will prefer this, inside the method local variable only prefer first. So I value is 20 here and if you want to call this value, so you have to make as a class name. So class name dot I means class in n inside the I. So because I already told static will be loaded once the classes will load, so you have to mention the name of class and n dot I, then only this will be preferred. Else you are not using n dot, then always will be preferred inside the method only. Inside the method we have a local or instance variable, so this will be called as a default. So I value is 20, and then j value n dot I value will be the 10, because this is. So if you'll here, so here what I we have defined here, and o dot I is there, so o dot I will be called this value. So I default value will be the 0. Now we again reinitialize with, if you want to reinitialize inside the method, then you have to mention the o dot I and then reinitialize, then only it will be reinitialize this value. And or else also you can do this way also, but if you have a local I value will be there, then you have to do from o dot I, because compiler will confuse. So here o dot I reinitialize at 10, so here the 0 and 10 will be the output. If we'll go for this one, so we have a package section 2 app1 and class P. So class P have a class name, and inside that we have a static int I. This is not yet declared, so I value will be the default, because static should have default value if you have not defined. And once the classes will load, all the static variables, method, classes, all and will be loaded. And inside this compiler will check the main method. So main method, inside the main method we have sop I. So I value, is default value is 0, because this static int I will be called and they have not yet any value, so default value will be taken 0. Now they reinitialize this I value. So either you can do this p dot I also here, p dot I class name, p dot I, or I equal to 10 also. So for that we reinitialize. But if multiples I value will be there, like a static, non-static I, then you have to declare p dot I class name. If you want to change this value, a static value, then mention the class name and then you have to declare. So again they reinitialize, and after that they are calling p dot I. So what will be the output? So p dot I will be again reinitialize with 10, so the output will be the 10 here, because p dot I we called here, but p dot I has already reinitialized because static is there. So a static has reinitialized, so compiler will change this value from 0 to I. If so, now here the queue, so this queue is I equal to 10. Now main method I will be printed as a 10 here, and now double equal to, again they have I defined here. So the reference variable is same, variable name, reference variable name is same, but we can use, why? Because this is static and this is non-static, because static has not mentioned. So either we can say non-static or local or instance non. So this double I 2.9 is a double value. So if you want to call here SOP of I, so the I value will be taken from here only, because always compiler will prefer this inside the method variable. So I is outside also, inside also, but compiler will confuse which I have to check. So in that cases, if different declaration will be there, like a static integer I and double, so this is a static first one and this is non-static or instance or local, so compiler will check only locals only. So the default value will be printed of I equal to 2.29 is declared, so this 2.9 will be the output. And if you want to print this one of I, then you have to mention this class name. So then only compiler will call, because if you are not providing class name, so by default will take this one local instance block variable. So if you run this program, so 10 2.9 and then 10. Like that we have a class R we have a integer I value, so this is a static type, and in J they are using I value only. So in J also will have same, because integer static in J is I, so whatever I value same will be initialized with J value also. So if we'll print this program, then I and J value will be the 10 and 10. So like this we have a same. So S is also I and J is also I, but here S is default value. If you have not declared any value, so by default will be the taken as a 0 for integer, double for 0.0, float for 0.0f, and string for null, and boolean for false, like this. So if you are not providing, then default value will be taken, and J also will have a default, because J equal to I we are choosing. So whatever I value will be there, that will be initialized with J also. So the 0 and 0 will be the output here. So these all are the 5 6 7 is a static variables I j k. So k is a combination of I plus j, is a addition of I plus j. So whatever the I variables will be there and j variables with the combination or additions from the k. So like that you have to check the output or try to practice in your machine or in your environment or IDE. So in this k, what we are doing, a static int I equal to j. So I value is not yet initialized, and now in the first line only we are using this I equal to j. So compiler will confuse what is the I value, even the first time even not yet initialized or not yet declare, and then they are reinitializing with the j also. So cannot reference this field before it created. So if you'll see here, the output errors will be they cannot reference a field before it is defined. So once compiler will define default value, either you have to manually define the default value, then only you have to call this. So directly we can't use. Once you declare like a static int I, then compiler will define either default value or you have to manually define, then we can do I equal to j, but first statement should not be there, so error should be there. If you'll go here for the v, I equal to 10 is fine, j equal to I is fine, because I is already declared and I is initialized with 10, so j is 10. Now what we are doing, n is m equal to n, so the same thing, m is not yet initialized, so cannot refer a field before it is defined, and even we don't know what is the n, because this next line I know this static int n is there, but here we don't know what is n is not yet declared before the line, because compiler will execute the code line by line. So 5 has executed, 6 has executed, now 7. So 7 m is there, so a static int m should be the default value 0, but what we are doing here equal to comparing with n, so whatever the n value will have m value. So n is not yet defined before this, because compiler don't will go from the next line if error is there, so he is not able to find what is n, so cannot reference a field before it is defined. So you should have to define this n value, then only we can use. The same way here also in this program we have not yet defined the j and we are calling. So once this j will be defined, then only we can call. So this 2. Now we will go for this. So these all are the static. So here what we are doing, first line is static int I equal to 10, second line is static int j equal to test method is there. So yeah, we can call in a variable test method also we can call. So this test method if there, then directly we'll call, and this test method always should be return type. Because why? Because we have a integer type here, so always whatever the test method should be, that will be some integer type, boolean type or something, so that return should be there. Then only that reinitialized value, then only the value will be initialized here for this int j variables. So the compiler will go for the main method here, main method sop of I and j. So I value. So in that case what will happen, once the classes will w will compile, then all the static method, I already told, a static method, a static variables and a static block will be loaded. So here this is a static method, so this will be loaded, this is the static variable, this is the static variable will be loaded, and this is the static method, this also will be loaded. All these things has loaded. Now compiler will check SOP is I and j value. So I and j value will be, I value is 10, is already declared. Now j value they are calling test method. So this they will check either test method is available, yes, test method is available. So this is integer type, this is also integer, so it should be same. So this is integer and this is integer, fine. So this test method have return type is 20, so this 20 will be initialized with this j value because they are doing some return, so this returns will initialize with this test, and j variable should be 20. So if we'll run this program, here 10 and 20 will be there. Even we are not calling here test, directly we are calling j, and the j have test method, so this test method will call from here only, and then they return 20 here, and the j value will be 20, and this will be printed here. Then we have X program, here we have a test1, and then int I, test1 and test2 is there. So test1 and test2, and int j, test2 is there, static int. So this two, there is two test method is there, test1 and test2, and static int I equal to test1 and test2 is there. So this is the combination of I value is test1 and test2 combination. So the compiler will go for the main method, and then they want I value. So what is the I value? I value is a combination of test1 and test2. So test1 should be also have an integer type because this I is integer, and test2 should also have an integer, and both should have return value. Then only this will be combined with test1 and test2 return value and initialize with this I, and then compiler will show this out. So here return 1 from test1 and return 2 from test2. So both additions and I value will be the test3. So that's test3. If you will go for run this program, I value is 2. The same way here also, like I as defined j is test calling, so test method will be called. So here if return they mention the same as a I, so a static variable is there. So once the classes is load, a static variable will use anywhere. So I value, compiler will check what is the I equal to 10. So compiler will go first main method. So inside this main we have I and j. So I value has already defined 10, so 10 will be, and j value will call this test method. So this test method have integer type. So this integer type, yeah, this test method has integer type, so this they have to return something, so they return I value. So I value is default 10, so that will be reinitialized here as a return type is 10. So I and j value should be 10 10. If we'll run this program, the output is 10 and 10. So here we have this j program. So inside that we have a test method, and j have a 10 and integer. So compiler will go for the main method main ing. So I print I. So I will be go for the test method. So this test method is there or not? Yes, test method is there. Now they are returning some j. So j is declared or not. Before returning we have to check either j has declared or not. Yeah, j is there. What type of? A static type. So default value. If not yet declared, if declared, then we can use the same value. So j value is 10. So 10 will come here. So I equal to 10 and j is also 10. So the output is 10 and 10. Sorry, I is 0. Okay. So integer I. Yeah. I is test. Static int I equal to test. So this test I static int I equal to test. So this test method is called. So static int test. This test method has been called. After that they are doing some return j. So return j is this 10. So j value is 10, I value is 0 because of yeah. Why? Because of if you will go for this execution of line by line, then this I value is declared first. A static int I is line number 5 and they are calling test, and a static int j is defining this variables j equal to 10. So we are calling this test method inside this I variable. So this I variables will go here and check this test method, and they are returning some j. So j is not yet defined because directly we jump from this class line number 5 to 7. Compiler don't know the j value, but compiler know once the classes is loaded, then j static all the static variables has loaded. So static variables has not yet defined, but the default should has taken as a 0 here because j value default is 0, I value default is 0, loaded by the compiler. Once you declare, the compiler will go for the line number 6. Once you declare, then j value will be reinitialized there or remodified there. So if you'll go for the next one, here you will see static int I test is there. So this test method have this one again. So here form test will call and they are doing some return. So return 10. So compiler will go for the main method first. So main method have form being, and after that they are printing some I. So I will go from this I, and I have test method. So test method will call SOP form test will be printed, and then return 10 is there. So that 10 and then form end. So if we'll run this program, no, this is something have issues. ij I equal to 0 and test equal to, no, here I and j value will be j 10 and 10 only. I think this is some issues here. Just a minute. J. We will go for this step 1. Z1. So here this test method developed server. So this is the Y program. So Y program, if we run here, so this 10.10 fine, j equal to test 10.10. Yeah, this is 10.10. If you run this YZ program, I equal to test. So this test 0.10. Okay, and Z1, if I'll print here, so Z1 have this test method. This test method has return type. So jet have there is some issue I think while running this, so not showing correct output here. So we have a main method. Inside this main method, form being will be printed, and form being, after that I will be called. So this I have test method, so this test method form test will be printed, and they have return 10. So this returns will be initialized with static int I equal to 10 value, and then form end will be printed, because compiler will go for this next line. So line number 15, this will be printed the same as it is here. Like uh, this is a package section 2 app1 is the this, and inside that we have a class j2. So this is a package line number 1, and then we have a class j2, and these are blank. So blank class declaration also is a valid statement. We can declare a class inside this blank, means nothing will be there happen. Compiler will not give any error. There is no compilation and no any errors will. So if this is the Z3, so inside we have a static int I, test method is there. So form as test SOP have form test and return, because this is integer type, so they have return. There is no main method inside this Z3 class. Yeah, so before say Java 7, without main method we can run this program. So if you want to run this program without main method before Java 7 is possible, because by the help of a static method we can run this program. So compiler will call, once you execute this, compiler will call a static variables and a static method. So static variables have I test, so this test method have there already a static test, so the output will be form test will be printed, and return is there, but we are not using so SOP form I. So this I value will be 10 as a initialize, but this only one SOP is there, form test will be printed before Java 7. But after Java 7 onwards, main method is required. Without main method we can't run any program. But if you are not declaring any main method inside the class, there is no compilation error, but we have to, while we running the program, compiler should ask or will go for the main method first. So inside this we have a integer I have test, and this is the test method. We have a main method, so compiler will go for the main method I value. So they will check the I value, so I value should have to call this test method. So test method is a static int test, means integer type, and so static int test have a form test, and return 10 is there. So form test first will be printed, and then 10 will be printed, and again it will go for the test one. So the compiler will go for the line number 14. They again we have a test one, so test one will go, then again they will print form test, and then return 10 will be there, but no call, so only this form test will be printed. If you will go for this one, then we have a static int I, and then test method. So compiler will go for the main method will go for the I will go for this test, because here I value is defined as a test method we have to call. So static in test integer type test method is there, inside form test will be printed, form test one, and then main as showing null here. So this is showing null, and then return 10. So this form test will be printed, and then return main as a null, and return 10 is there. So this will be as a null defined, and return is a 10 is there. So if we'll go for this SOP of, then compiler will go from this SOP and this, and then redefine this I value is 10. So like that we have covered a static method, a static variable, and if we'll go for the next one, then we can use this static block here. So there are three things is there in a static. We have a static block, we have a static variable, we have a static method. So when to use and why we are using this all in this project or any real-time project, how we will call, which concept we have to call while we write the logic. So these all are the way we will see. So the next is static block. Can we continue here, or this one we will continue tomorrow? So inside only 5 to 7 programs are there for this static block, because mostly we many things we cover static. Hello, can we continue here?
We can continue tomorrow then.
Okay. So tomorrow we will continue these two, app 2 and app 3. So inside this static block concept will be there. So all are related for static block,
Yeah,
static
because I
way.
think two or three people
Yes, yes.
left, so everybody will be there tomorrow. So, you know,
Sure, sure, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, fine then. Also requesting you to complete all the tasks which we given last time. Just for pre-increment, decrement, post-increment, decrement is there concept. Just complete. So that tomorrow we'll discuss the questions which I have given, and then these two we will consider. App 2 and app 3 will complete tomorrow.
So I have one question. Can we get this? Like, is this your personal? Like, you know, whatever, like A Java, B Java. Is this like you made it personally, or we can find it on the
No, this is my
website?
personal only. Just for preparations I have created this one
Uh-huh.
from
So
the,
that would be nice if you like, you know, if you'll share this
yeah, whatever I'll complete I'll share
with us
these
so we
things.
can practice.
I'll check with them where I have to share and what will be the link. There I have upload this.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Sure, then we will continue tomorrow this. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Bye.